guys, welcome to Real Matters Podcast here again. And today's episode is about to be a banger because we are bringing in the heat. So in our last episode, we talked about is low-cost housing really, is it real or is it just a political lie? And today we are diving into the not just doing this thing alone. I'm here with my fellow co-host.
So guys, it's your go-to realtor on your screen, Moses Mwali. And today we have with us a renowned house agent here in the Southeast, Mr. Emmanuel Sunday, popularly known as The Bros. You're highly welcome, sir. We're talking about increase in house rents in Southeast, basically Anambra State, Awka. Mr. The Bros. So I would like to ask, what can be the root cause of this price increase in house rent?
The issue Nigeria is facing currently, and we've been in this issue since 1960, as we all know. So, but looking at how it's supposed to be and how it is now, okay, the root cause of this issue we're having in Anambra State basically is, I think we're having this issue starting from the caretaker, okay, the caretakers. Because if you look at what caretakers are doing, landlord will keep his building or her building at, for example, 250. You see someone who is supposed to be managing this building, putting the house rent at 450, 500.
Goodness.
We house agents, by the time we will come and want to rent and want to add our own money as well, we'll not add 30, 50K. But before you know it, Self-con is now at 600K to pay 250. You're not asking yourself, what is happening? You understand? So, to answer your question, I think the root cause of this issue, apart from the Nigeria issue, is the caretakers. The caretakers are doing us more harm than good if you look at it. I'm telling you, because you check what they are doing. You see some building that they will tell you, we are not managing, we are fixing this, we are not lying, they're not fixing anything. Because at the end of the day, if anything goes on in the building, they will still call the landlord, and landlord will send money for it. And in most cases, they will still not fix the fault in the building. I'm telling you, if you go into the street and see what people are passing through in many buildings, especially all these old buildings there at Ifite Awka, all these places, and see what people are passing through there. Some people sometimes say when you call your caretaker to fix something, okay, the next thing they will add rent, and when they add rent, we think they will fix it. They will not fix it. I'm telling you the truth. So the root cause of all these things is the caretaker or are the caretakers.
That's beautiful. But agents, like house agents, are one of the major problems we're having here. Basically, in that Ifite houses, Awka, Roma, not just self-con alone, even apartments like flats. That the root cause of this price increase, that agents play a huge major cause per se in this problem. So what do you have to say about that?
To me, I don't know what another person would take. Okay, but to me, it's a lie.
Okay.
Now, why would I say it's a lie? Because first of all, if they stick to the normal process, okay, the procedure of house renting, that's how it's supposed to be. If they stick to it, all these things will be happening. First of all, for example, now agency fee is supposed to be 10%. Okay, and before now, how it's usually done is 5% from the landlord and 5% from the client. Yes.
So there's actually a standard for it.
Of course. How is supposed to, let me say, for example, now, a building of 10,000, room of 10,000, I'm sorry, 100,000 naira. Okay, and of course, 10,000 is the 10% of 100,000. 5,000 from the landlord and 5,000 from the client. But suddenly, from nowhere, all these things change. How did it change? Landlord and caretaker stopped, involving landlord in what is happening in renting. So most landlords, what they will do is they will, after building everything, they will hand everything over to the caretaker or the management. Okay, so they will do whatever they want with the building. Okay, and then clients are so in haste to get this building, so they are free to do anything. But the reason for this the increment is not the agent, because if it's normal the 5%, if as a client, for example, if you are coming, you know that okay, what you're paying for a house of 200,000, 10,000 to your agent. But in most cases, if you call the landlord to send your 10,000 naira, you will never see that money.
Hey.
In many cases, there was a building we rented, and they let me not call the junction, but you see here, the landlord agreed that he will pay. I'm telling you, this thing is happening to 2021. The landlord agreed that he's going to send 20,000 naira. Till today, man, we've not seen this money. I'm telling you. So when agents look at all these things, I will not decide that since this is the issue we are facing, let's just be collecting everything from the
Client.
client. But that does not mean that some agents are not greedy. Yes, we have some greedy agents. Then they will add beyond the 10%. Even now, they're adding beyond the 10%. But looking at it logically, the agents are not the issue. Because if the management, for example, we keep this building at 120, okay, even if an agent at 30,000, it's still 130. It's still affordable. But because the building is now 450, 500, and somebody who can pay 500 cannot pay 550, is it possible? So you see what is happening. So it's not agent, it's the management. And I will blame the landlords for having a property and then leaving it in the care of reckless people.
Based on what you've said now, I also want to ask another question, because there is another thing that people are saying that most landlords don't base here in Nigeria. Now, what do you think should be your advice to most of these landlords are in diaspora? A serious problem when it comes to housing in Awka. The population in Awka are way more than the available housing. What should be the hope of students that cannot afford these houses that are very expensive, these rents that are very, very expensive? What kind of questions should they ask? Because we find scenarios where you come to a lodge now, you ask room A, how much did you pay for rent? They'll tell you 500k. You go to maybe the next room, room B, and room B tells you, I paid 350k. Do you understand? Probably they came in through different agents. Do you understand? So what should be the questions, especially freshers, that maybe they've started looking for housing from where they did, their state. Do you understand? Waiting, that's be the hope of this people.
So before he answers the question, there's this incident that happened while I was still in school. In my lodge where I stay, I don't want to mention the man's name, but wherever you are, if you're watching this video, go with judge you. Because this man during ASU strike rented one particular room twice. So the person staying there before, like we all traveled for lockdown, then he rented the apartment again, not knowing that ASU was going to call off his strike, and it was a very, very big problem. Adding to the changing of normal light stuff to prepaid. I think he went to tell the landlord to be prepaid, and for some months we didn't even have light, we didn't have water. It really made a lot of arguments in that lodge. Even people that paid 180, and some they were paying 160. New people that came in, they were paying 180. So when they found out that the man was doing this stuff, it really caused issue, and the landlord started prepaying back their money, and those people had to leave. So like you said, what questions will students actually ask before coming into a new lodge?
Okay, let me start from students that used to pay online.
People pay online.
Yes, when I was a young agent, I don't know, personally, I'm trusted. You understand? People would administrate that, and then I'm not. So people usually pay to me online, but you can't trust everybody. In fact, there's something that happened this year, this January. This girl Waka from Lagos come. How that you saw in that video, it's not what they're seeing. So they stood there, called the agent, said they the pick up. Someone called me and said, "The bros we are there's half I get house." Who is the caretaker? It's your right as a tenant, as a student that is living in a building, to know your caretaker. If you pay for a building, that moment, your caretaker number should be given to you. That moment. Don't wait till tomorrow.
But Mr. DeBrose, this story I just gave was actually a caretaker.
Like I said in the beginning of this thing, we have some, caretakers are not worthy to be a caretaker. A caretaker who is supposed to be a father or a mother to the students that live in there. Yes. Because you cannot watch your children suffering without light, without water for months.
Most of them are family men. Most of them are family men.
Most of them. Yes, they are heartless, if I'm allowed to use that word.
You are allowed.
So if you watch, of course, we have some good caretakers.
Yeah, very true.
Okay, and in most cases, landlords might not have money for this, like you said, lights and the rest of it. And please, caretakers, if you're watching this video, before you make changes, for example, in that form, normal meter to be paid, come on, alternative. You should stop suffering students. I know. So, but for people that are looking for building, for lodge, incoming students, and the rest of them, when you come to, if they are looking for building, please ask the certain question. Who are you? Are you a student? Of course, we will not have ID card. So your ID card, where you stay. If, of course, I'm not telling you where I stay, per se, but I stay in this junction. Okay. Are you a student? Yes or no? I'm a student. Okay, we're not a student. Your office.
Okay.
What can I identify with? Were you once a student? Because if you were once a student of this school of university, for example, I can trace you back. Yes, I can always go back to your department and bring out your details. Okay, we once had issue with one guy down school side. This guy, about 4 persons, he ran away with their house rent, a lodge residence.
Okay.
But the issue here is that this lodge resident is not a student. It's not a student. So the question is, how did they come together to make some a law student, a lodge president? Because normally the law, put me anywhere, is that
A student of the last
a student must be. And one of the reasons why they said it must be a student is for that person to cover the interest of others in the face of caretaker and landlord.
Yeah.
That's, how did they now come together to make someone that is not
A student.
So when you as someone a house seeker, someone looking for accommodation, I think you should first of all be looking for who is your president, who is your caretaker. How much is this building? If they tell you that this building is, for example, is 350 to pay 150, for example, and then the agent said my agency fee is not on top, the agent is honest.
Honest. 350 to pay 150.
The agent is honest. My agency fee is not on top. Now, for example, another scenario whereby now you bring person, we bring person, we bring person, we bring the person. That means we are now 5. Please, if you're a student, wrong. Because you end up paying 20,000 for 5 years, 100,000.
Jesus.
Avoid that kind of everything good agency. Put me anywhere. I don't go with more than 3 agents. And in most cases, I'll tell them like, we will share the agency fee. You've dealt with before, so you know how I do. I don't, if you are 3, we are sharing because I want people being, I don't like it when people are suffering. If there are more than 3, wrong. If they don't come on the way and give paper, wrong.
I give you paper.
I give paper, give you paper, in the firehouse. If someone referred you, let me say something on referral pertaining to this particular stuff. If someone referred you to somebody and say, trust this person, the person will give you house. Please ask proper question. One of the questions you should ask is this person a student? So that if your money go, is this person traceable? Third, if the person does not have office, no problem. If the person well known, that can be seen. When your money go, who I go meet, who I go see person give the person. Thirdly, please, who is the caretaker of this building?
Okay, sir. I want to ask something. You are saying something about caretakers. You said the hike of rent and everything is because of caretakers infuse their own money. So now I want to actually know who is a caretaker. What is his duty? Does he have the right to add additional fee to the rent?
First, does he have the right? Yes. Building.
First time payment.
First time. What is it now? Let me say, for example, that on landlord is 200K. The caretaker will add is 40,000. So now the work of this caretaker. First of all, number one, caretakers take care of the building.
Okay.
They manage. They communicate. They are like intermediary between the landlord and the tenant. But now,
Can be saying 500 to pay 250.
500 to pay 50. The extra 250K on top
for them.
It's for them. Some of them, in most cases, landlord don't know how much that their rates, their building is. The caretaker will just say, this area now, the rent is not like that, so let's just put it at 200. 200, but the landlord will agree. Baba, this same caretaker could come down, put am 500. The remaining 10 wey dey on top, you carry am, send 200 to landlord. Check. Just take it upon yourself to scout. Just visit few, go to schools, interview students. Now, caretakers are not doing their some. Let me not say caretakers are not. Some caretakers are not doing their job. Yes. One of the reasons why, normally, one of the reasons why housing increases if there is any form of maintenance, increase rent. But I can say that in this CPT, for example, caretakers will come and tell tenants, students, want to fix this one, want to fix that. So we are increasing our rent from 120 to 300, for example. Students will use because they were informed that there will be a maintenance and improvement in living. The comfort will improve, and they will pay this 300. After payment, nothing
Will be done.
will be done. These are the kind of issues they are supposed to be taken to, some organization like SUD, for example, to tackle.
According to what you're saying, I would like to ask a question. Now, the agency stuff, the caretakers, because two major problems we have said so far are the caretakers, and that of some agents being greedy. Now, is there any form of regulatory body? Like, is there any body that is monitoring the agents and the caretakers? Then, is there any, like, those, the agents now, let's use Awka, for instance. Do we have an agents forum that whereby we say agents are registered? They have registered agents. That's like the way we say when you come to that of realtors. As a realtor, you have to register with the company that you can actually market their products. So is there anything like that for the act of the agents, or anybody can just be an agent, or I can just come out one morning and go to a building and say that, okay, this building is vacant. I get in touch with the caretaker and I get anybody.
I'm not known for telling lies. I used to lie. I'm not really telling lies. Yeah. So to answer your question with all honesty, okay, here there is no body, there's no union, there's no organization. This simply implies that you can wake up one morning, say, oh, my brother, say, my inside this agency, make a hand, and if you get contact, you are good to go. But here is the thing: the monitor us, we are checkmated by for example, the SUD. They have this body, that checkmate. So we are now registered. For example, I am registered with them. Okay, everything good agency is registered. You understand? I'm registered. I didn't call my ID card, I'm not sure, but I'm registered. My ID card is, whenever I'm going out for inspection, scouting, any form of, I'll have my ID card. Okay, so now what they tried before, but they failed. That they try again, and they might succeed. Now they try to checkmate by, if you're not registered, you're not allowed to operate, and the rest of them. But about 7 of us, we came together and we are discussing. We said, how do we? Because we are having, you will go somebody. What are you, an agent? Since when? Okay, you're not as mention at least 3 names of people. Just wake up in the morning, post. Some of them don't even leave their house. What they do is, if I post, they post. They get somebody, they give person my number.
You're shipping.
So now we are asking, what do we do? We try to have a body that you must register before you can operate. But some of them, the elderly one, they said, let us pity the students, because they were one student. So they said they understand the hardship of being a student. So if you can actually have the strength to go out there and scout for lodge or building, and then you're under the sun, because Jesus Christ, you go under the sun, get this stuff, you can do it. Good, run it. But you have limits.
Okay.
And you have limits because there's somebody you are started with. Okay, for example, when I started, there are few persons, there's a few of them that we are working together. You can't work alone because some caretakers will ask you. For example, when I started, you go to a building, I want to check if there's any form of background. Who are you? So who do you work with? You mention their names, you have their contact, that's an evidence that you actually. So these things help us to at least have a control of what we are doing. And then they created a group then. Of course, the group is still on my phone. So everybody is there. When you're operating and you don't have that ID card that the SUD issued there, you can't operate. Okay, but a recognized union, we don't have it. When we have a recognized, like transport have a recognized union, real estate have a recognized union. No, we don't have it. But at least we have a control body.
Very interesting. Very, very. So, guys, we've heard from our renowned agent, Mr. Sunday Emmanuel, popularly known as the Bros. So, we thank you very much for coming around to share your thoughts on this very important and crucial matter.
Thank you, sir.
So, thank you very, very much for coming.
You're welcome.
Yeah. This talk, this whole rent issue is very, very fantastic. You actually hit the nail like very, very well. And viewers, if you're watching this, I want you to comment. Go to the comment section right now and tell me the part that was actually interesting and questions you would like to ask Mr. Debros, because we are going to be bringing back again to give another insight on some specific topic concerning this rent issue. And don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, and hit the like button. We will see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.
It's Real Matters here again. Bye.